this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, let me get right to it. Happy Easter to everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying your family. Some of you may be watching this out of town. I just want to ask you some important questions, especially with maybe having a little bit more time to process. And that is this: are you retirement ready? Can you actually say that you are retirement ready? You know, there's a significant difference, and many of you have reached out and have been able to witness this difference of being in this accumulation phase versus this distribution preservation phase. And some of you think, well, of course I'm in a preservation phase because I'm in retirement. Folks, we've had people in their 80s that just reached out to us that refer to us that are still they have an accumulation plan in a distribution phase, in a preservation phase. So they learned very quickly the tax risk row that they're on, the tax risk that they were going to leave their adult sons. They learned how to stay ahead of inflation, right? They were taking higher risk and getting inferior returns and paying exorbitant costs, and it just made no sense. But until someone showed them how to have a cohesive, right, an actual holistic plan, and many of you, we see that trend, are saying, look, you know what? I see this. We want something that encompasses all the moving parts, right? Because as they say, right, that the sum is greater than all the parts. Most people have never had all those different parts put together to see how they can get a greater sum. And I want to teach you that this coming Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. Let me give you just a couple quick examples, right? We had a client that reached out, and one of the tax calculations that we did for him was what he and his wife had saved in their tax deferred, or I call them the ticking tax time bomb accounts, right? The tax me later accounts. And he's going to pay back. Now, he's done a good job. He saved $1.5 million. I'm sorry, in this particular case, he had saved $2.5 million. And at age 62 already, he'd done very well. And he's going to pay back at today's tax rates over $3 million between he and his family through his distributions, through his family's inheritance. We have another client that has done a great job that he learned, which I'll teach one of the strategies this coming Tuesday, of how to untax 70% of his tax deferred accounts. So he's able to remove $700,000 from the tax system, costing him zero in taxes, because he learned top line deduction strategies that have been all part of the tax code, but because most of us have a tax preparer, not a tax planner. That's what's great about having a tax planning team, folks. And here's the other thing. He learned how to get more return, taking less risk. So he had a lower targeted risk, especially now that he's in this phase of going from accumulation to distribution. But he didn't give up return. He increased his return. He lowered his risk. And he was able to move his projections to more than double of what he'll have as assets over he and his wife, and passing on legacy assets to their adult children. Folks, you work hard for your money. Imagine more financial success, less stress, less worry. You know, there's a problem in this country that if just from a year ago, this time, federal spending is up 50%, that this Biden administration has proposed to go into effect with the new budget starting October 1st, over $7.2 trillion, of which over $4 trillion are just new taxes. The ability for us to be able to maneuver through this tax sale while we still have time, and many of you are taking advantage of it, and I would encourage you to not sit on the sideline, folks, especially for those of you between 55 and 75. The time to act is before the government starts forcing you out of your money, or before they prevent you from being able to get out of their tax system. And with inflation on the rise, and it's not coming down anytime soon, folks. When the Fed starts lowering rates because they have no other choice because our country is broke, you're actually going to see inflation increase. It's not going to decrease, and prices are not going to come down. New car prices are up 23% just in the last few years. And I talk about burgers, I talk about fries, milkshakes, deodorant. All those things are up astronomically high, and they're not coming down. They're not going to come down. The wholesalers can't afford for them to come down. That's why the wholesale inflation rate came in twice as high as what this government wanted to lead you and I to believe that it would. And then they don't ever talk about it. Folks, you work hard for your money. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com. Remove yourself from inflation, retirement, annihilation. You can do it. Getting rid of unnecessary taxation, staying ahead of crazy inflation, making sure that you avoid unnecessary market deterioration so that you go from this accumulation to preservation for lifestyle and legacy preservation, folks. All these aspects need to be tied together. If you're looking for a plan, you need to ask yourself, are you retirement ready? And if you are, or you think you are, or you're not sure, put it to the test. You work hard for your money. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.